Hi there guys, Tom Quayle here. Now, a lot of people have been asking and wondering whether Neural DSP would ever do anything that wasn't based around djent or metal tones. And could they do edge of breakup and clean tones as well as they've done all of their kind of other amazing tones that they've created for guys like Plini, Tosin Abasi, Nolly, so on and so forth. Now, that question for me has been absolutely fundamentally answered with a resounding yes, because the guys have hooked up with Cory Wong, the legendary Cory Wong, of course, the guy with the funkiest right hand in the whole of the guitar business, and created a completely different sounding plugin, something that's got a whole different range of tones in it that really we've never seen before from Neural DSP. So today we're going to check that out. I'm going to show you some of the features, show you some of the sounds, so let's do it right now. So here's the plugin in the usual kind of Neural DSP layout. So we've got all of the different gear sections along the top, of which in this case there are 6. And then we've got our input section, and then obviously the beautiful graphics here, ability to save presets too, and then little utility functions like MIDI capability, selecting your audio interface, all the usual stuff. So in this example, the first thing that's brand new is this wah pedal here, which can be set in auto wah mode or can be mapped to any kind of MIDI controller. I've got it in this cocked wah mode at the moment, actually, which for this preset, which basically means it's active, but it's set in the middle of the frequency range. Man, does that sound absolutely killer. But if you use your mouse, you can actually kind of give it a bit of a rock. Now to my ears, that is a killer sounding wah pedal. It's got that classic kind of, I don't know what wah pedal Cory uses, but to me it sounds like a Vox wah, but I could be wrong. But it's beautifully made. Now again, this can be mapped to a MIDI controller, or you can set it in auto wah mode if you want. You've got full control over release and attack. So if you do that, what I'm actually going to do here is go to my clean preset, ultra clean, turn on the wah, turn on auto wah, set the release and the attack down, sensitivity a little higher, and now it's going to auto wah for me. Super, super cool. Very, very nice feature indeed. So unlike an auto wah or envelope filter style pedal, this has got a more authentic wah sound to it. Now, as we move across, we've got 4 different pedals here, and the very first one is an envelope filter stroke auto wah pedal, the Postal Service. So this is going to do a very similar job. Let's turn off this wah and come over to here, turn on the Postal Service, and now we've got Now I've created a little preset here as well called Filth Bucket. Excuse the names, guys. I'm obviously feeling a bit daft today. Filth Bucket. So you can hear how great that sounds straight away. And of course you have control over the range of the actual wah sound, sensitivity, attack and decay. Very similar, but it's a different sound. It's a chewier kind of sound than you'll get with the wah pedal. If we increase the range, say, responds amazingly well. We then have this compressor here, the 4th position compressor. Now this is essentially not a transparent style compressor by default. It's for that kind of classic classic compressed position 4 strat kind of funk territory. But we do have a blend on here and a tone control, so you can really shape this nicely. So if we switch it off, we've got that kind of a sound. And at the moment, what I'm doing here is I'm actually utilizing the DI'd amplifier. So there's no cab simulation on at all. We'll find out in a second that there is actually a DI'd kind of console style amplifier. Now, if we switch this on, slightly clipping because this is not a preset that I've actually created. If I go to my ultra clean again, switch this on. Okay, let's turn the delay off. Come back to here. We'll go through all that stuff in a second. Bring the blend up, compression up, bring the tone down and the volume down. Fantastic, really, really great. We've then got a Tubescreamer on here called the Tuber, but it's green and it's got a tube on the front. It's a Tubescreamer, essentially. So that's a really, really nice feature as well. And then the Big Rig Overdrive, I'm presuming is a Marshall kind of amp in a box clone kind of pedal. Sounds great as well. Very, very, very cool sound indeed. Then if we move over, we've got 3 different amps. So we have, on the left-hand side here, this is our DI Funk console. Very unique feature for this plugin as well. None of the other plugins have got this kind of a feature. You could disable the cab simulation and disable the amp, but obviously you didn't have any control over EQ other than the graphic EQ just here. This has some really cool features in. Essentially, it is a very high-end DI'd kind of console style channel strip. So we've got compression on the front end with slow or fast attack. We've got tube saturation for bringing in some kind of grit or extra kind of saturation to the signal, and then a very powerful EQ section with a high pass, low pass, and then we've got lows, mids and highs with switchable kind of EQ bands, which is very similar to like an SSL or Neve style console, then our output volume. And again, you can switch off the cab simulation for a very, very DI'd signal. If I switch these off here, and we utilize this particular amplifier. So now we've got classic DI'd signal. Very cool. Not sure what I played there, but you get the idea. Now combine that with the compression. We got it on the slow mode, so we get the attack, but we still have compression. Really, really great sound. You can bring on the cab simulation. It has its own cab as well. So if we turn this on, I've got a Royal 121 and an SM57. Let's bring this a little bit closer. So you can totally do that if you want, but it does sound great with the cab simulation switched off. Now, if we go to the second amplifier here, let's just tie these together. We've got this boutique clean amp. Now, this is a great pedal platform. It will crank a little bit if you really push the volume, but it has a bright switch, 3-band EQ, presence, and an output level as well. So no master volume, it's just kind of a single channel kind of sound. This actually works really great if you plug pedals into the front end of it, as I say. So this superb sound. All of these amps are very hi-fi sounding, which is great for funk. Let's add in some reverb here. So we'll get a little bit more decay. There we go. Great, great sound for all sorts of different styles. Bright switch on here as well. And you can hear how beautifully and realistically this is breaking up. lot of people waiting to see how good Neural DSP's edge breakup and clean tones would sound, and this is a really good indication of where they're going in the future. And also with the quad cortex as well, when that comes out. I think that's what it's called. I've got brain failure. So this sounds fantastic. Now, of course, with this, if you combine it with the drive pedals, so if we run the Tubescreamer in the front, we can do it two ways. We can either push the level here, or of course we can bring the level down and crank the drive, and then we get more of a classic kind of pedal in front of an amp sound. And the way this responds to pick dynamics is so amp-like now that realistically, you know, it's just the same feel as playing through an amp. Really fantastic. So just to show you with this amp, the Big Rig Overdrive, let's do a similar thing. So we'll bring the drive down, turn down a bit and crank the level on this one into the same amp, nothing's changed. A lot more low end, because a lot of you guys will know that Tubescreamers kick out the low end as opposed to bringing it in. I mean, fantastic for low gain edge of breakup tones. You know, this is really phenomenal sounding. Now, if we come across to here and move on to the next amp, we've got this Amp Snob, which is basically like a tube amp but with an extra gain stage. And this is where you can get into the high gain territory that you heard when I was using the cocked wah kind of sound. So here in the standard mode, it's more like a secondary clean amp. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine it with this cab here because that's my favorite. Now just in this standard kind of mode, have I still got the pedals switched on? No, those are off. So let's come back to the amp and we've got this. So a great sound, and again we've got a bright switch which is on at the moment. Really fantastic. Again, nice sounding EQ section here. Now, if we crank the volume on this amp and bring the output level down, we can get saturation. So now, as you'd expect, it blooms and blossoms in the exact way you would expect a tube amp to bloom and blossom. And if we come back to here and we stick the Tubescreamer in the front with the level cranked and the drive pulled back, we're into high gain territory. mean, that is extraordinary levels of pick control in terms of the dynamics going on. It's phenomenal. If we do the same thing with this pedal, bring the drive down, level cranked. Again, more low end saturation. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Now let's turn that off, come back to this amp and switch in the drive stage, bring the volume down to about halfway. And now again, the drive is happening on the amp as opposed to on the pedal. Okay, now combine that with the pedal. We'll combine it with the Tubescreamer in this case. Fantastic, really, really fantastic. It's a particular type of drive sound. It's very, very different to what they've had in Neural DSP's kind of plugins before, which have often been very much geared towards the metal guys. This is a much more boutique-y, old school, vintagey kind of sound for the overdrives, but I absolutely love it because the pick dynamics are the best I have ever experienced in a plugin based format, without a doubt. Really, really staggeringly good. And again, we've got this section where we can really come in and tailor the sounds with hundreds and hundreds of different IRs, which are based around kind of, utilizing the distance slider, the level, and also the position here. Let's just do a little bit of tweaking here. So we'll switch out the SM57 for a 160 in case this was a little bit kind of too harsh for you guys, although I absolutely loved it. Incredible playing experience. So now we've got two ribbon mics. We've done nothing else to the sound. I mean, that is an unbelievably sweet tone, absolutely beautiful. Now, if we come into the output effects section here, let's switch on the delay and have a listen to how that sounds. We'll take out the reverb at this point, actually, just so you can hear this a little bit better. Let's bring our tempo down. You can hear there the effect that we've got going. So again, we've got tons and tons of tonal flexibility. There is no modulation on these delays, which I would have liked, but that's, a very small nitpicking kind of thing. Let's bring the wet signal down on this delay. sounds epic, really, really epic. And then the final thing is the shimmer. So I have this shimmy on the dance floor, and this has the shimmer mode engaged with the reverb, and this is as good as anything else I've heard on the market. So I'm going to use position 4 on my guitar. I'm on, for this particular preset, the clean amp, and I'm utilizing a Royal 121 and SM57 classic combination. It's panned left and right, of course, and then the front end there is nothing on, and we've just got the shimmer and we get this. Absolutely gorgeous. So that gives you a really good idea, guys, of the kind of tonal possibilities for this plugin. There is an obscene amount more that you can do with it, of course, and it obviously integrates with your DAW really nicely. I've got all of these different presets that you've heard here. The last one I'm going to finish with is this wonderful lead. I am so sorry for that pun. And I'm going to play you out. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. As usual, you'll find the link for the Neural DSP website down below. This is in beta mode, so I'm going to try it, and as soon as possible when this plugin is released, I will put the updated link so you guys can go and check this out. They do I think it's a 10-day demo for free. So well worth the price of admission. And for anybody who was wondering whether Neural DSP could do anything but really high gain, djenty metal sounds, oh my word, yes, they have absolutely proved that beyond a shadow of a doubt. This is a wonderful plugin, sorry. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. As usual, click the like and subscribe buttons below if you did enjoy this demo. My name's Tom Quayle, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.